Hey everybody, my name is Dr. Tony Ebel, and I'm a pediatric chiropractor who specializes in autism spectrum disorders, ADHD, sensory processing disorder, epilepsy, and other neurological childhood conditions. And I'm sending you this video, shooting this video on April 2nd here, 2014, World Autism Awareness Day. And the primary reason that I'm shooting this video and sending it out there is, while I'm all about awareness and all about a better understanding of this perfect storm of influences and illnesses and sicknesses and challenges that our kids are going through, I am much more about action. And the primary purpose of this video is to tell you and show you all about an amazing event that we have coming up literally in 30 days on May 2nd, so after we wrap up April, which is Autism Awareness Month. An amazingly impactful and action-based event that we're going to do in 30 days. But before we dig into that really quick, I want to mention to you a couple things that you need to know about autism in light of the recent news with the CDC releasing the report that 1 in 68, even way more crazy numbers for boys, as far as having autism nowadays. And the two things that I want to share with you that right off the bat you need to know about is what you hear about on the typical regurgitated over and over and over media reports and American Academy of Pediatrician reports and CDC reports and all these other sort of folks and places who just spit out the same amount of worthless information over and over again, even in the face of these terrifying pandemic level stats. There's two big major things you need to know that are just flat out not true. One is that the reason it's now 1 in 68, 1 in 42, and just trending in just horrifying direction here is not simply because we're better diagnosing it. If that was really true, in just a 10-year time in a typical classroom of 25 to 30 American students, if the better diagnosis criteria was really the answer for this increase in the incidence of autism, then in just 10 to 15 years time, so really even less than one generation, we would go back into a classroom in the mid-90s and that sort of area, and that would say that out of those 25 to 30 kids, there was 2 more children suffering with autism. So having an inability to properly communicate, to manage their emotions, having neurological challenges, illnesses, all sorts of stuff. So 2 more kids with a pretty apparent, pretty noticeable disease such as autism were just missed. We just didn't notice them. Their parents just didn't notice that they couldn't talk, couldn't communicate, couldn't connect. The teacher just missed that. The providers just missed that. I don't think that's really quite true. It's just a repeated, rehashed, same old kind of mistruth that is out there by the AAP, the CDC, and the media reports that report everything that they're told to do. The second thing that is even more disturbing, and what our event is primarily about, and the Perfect Storm is primarily about, is that you'll continue to hear this, well, we don't still know what causes it. We don't know why. We know why the increased rise in incidence. It's just we're better diagnosing it and more diagnosing it, but we still don't know why it causes it. We think it's primarily genetic and maybe a little bit environmental, and you see these other little studies here and little studies there, and nobody in that world has ever connected the dots to what's going on. I have had one of the busiest pediatric practices specializing in spectrum disorders and taking care of these kiddos going on 7 years now here outside of Chicagoland. And I've also over the last couple of years developed a training program and a lecture series and dug so hard in the science and trained other providers and other chiropractors. Where I'm going with this is it isn't about me, it's about these kids. I have sat here in this office and heard the exact same path and the exact same story and the exact same recipe create autism, create ADHD, create sensory processing disorders, create things even from ear infections and colic. I've heard the same path, these confluence of factors, these recipe of ingredients that happen in a child's life, these stressors, these indicators that lead and build the path to autism over and over and over again, hundreds, now thousands of times in my offices, and now the doctors that I'm training throughout the world are hearing it in their offices, and other like-minded providers have as well. Collectively, we refer to that as the perfect storm. And in this short video, I'm not going to take you through the perfect storm. That's what our May 2nd event is up, and that's also what our upcoming incredible webinar series that we're going to be running through the National Wellness Foundation is all about. But bottom line, we do know what's happening. Those 2 lies that are continually being told on MSNBC and AAP and everywhere else that we're better diagnosing and we don't know what's causing it is not true. And if you want answers, and if you have if you still just don't know what's going on here, whether you're a parent of a child already suffering with autism, ADHD, sensory, these sort of things, or if you're a parent who has a child or is going to have a child, and you look at these numbers and you see these statistics and you're scared and you're fearful, I'm sorry, it just is what it is, and you don't want that to be the path that your child ends up taking, the recipe that your child ends up getting, and you know that it isn't just bad luck and bad genetics, because it's not. This is an event, this is an evening, May 2nd at McHenry County Auditorium there. This is an event that you need to be to. It's a Friday night, and I want to give you a couple specs and lowdown on the event. It is going to be an event different than we've done before. I've given the Perfect Storm lecture now in a couple different countries, even across the world, hundreds of times, but this is going to be a Perfect Storm event, but it's also going to be a little bit different. We're going to have two incredible mothers, not just, that's the most important job in the world when you have a child, but two incredible, amazing, impactful, intelligent, articulate women in Julie Obradovich and Linda Betzold, who have been in this world of autism because their children were thrown into this perfect storm fire and this perfect storm pandemic. And they've been working on it nearly 2 decades for both of them on helping and healing their children. So their expertise, their experience, they're going to share each in 2 20-minute TED-style talks, exactly their experiences and their knowledge, and most importantly, again, not just awareness, but action that you can leave this evening with to help your child, whether your child's already having one of these challenges or that you can help your child with to make sure that your child never does. And after that, our team, our premier wellness team, Dr. Derek and Dr. Amy, my 2 other incredible pediatric chiropractors who have been working in this clinic and seeing and unlocking and helping these children for years with us, are also going to do 2 incredible 20-minute TED-style presentations. Then at the end of the event, actually between them, we're going to show another quick little 30-minute clip documentary from the movie Doctored, Exposing the Modern Medical Monopoly, where we're going to dig into the topic of vaccinations and autism. We're going to dig into, and that movie and the clip that you're going to see from it follows 2 of our patients, one of which is my very own son Oliver, who was born with the exact same perfect storm sort of confluence of factors right at his birth, right in the first 6 weeks of his life, that we see over and over and over again lead to these challenges. And it didn't for him. And you're going to see that shown in that video and in that movie. And then at the end of the evening, at the very last part of the evening, I am going to give a very kind of TED-style, full speed and impactful, action-based oriented Perfect Storm lecture as well. Everybody who attends is going to be a fun, not only impactful, enlightening, incredible evening. We're going to have door prize. Everybody who comes is going to leave with a DVD copy of either Doctored, the movie, or The Greater Good, a movie that explores the topic of vaccinations and autism and everything else. We're going to have incredible appetizers from Duke's Ale House and Kitchen. The tickets for this event are $10 or $15 for a couple to attend. Most of the time with these events we have so many amazing couples come and be there. It is open for parents. It is absolutely, definitely recommended for other providers, OTs, PTs, speech therapists, developmental therapists, ABA therapists, anybody who works in this world and can benefit and help these kids needs to know the information we're going to share this evening. And all the proceeds, every last single thing that comes from this event, in fact, not just the proceeds, we're donating the entire, everything that comes through the door to this event, to TACA, to talk about curing autism, and the local chapter here, which Mrs. Betzold is one of the founders and leaders of. So all of it is going to go back to kids with autism, helping them clear and cure and get through autism and get the answers and the help that they need. And last thing that I want to share with you is that back when autism was originally defined in the 40s and 50s, the first kind of simple definition to it before the DSMs and all the complexities of this world we have now, it was described as locked-in syndrome. Right now what that means is that 1 in 68 kids, and quite honestly those are old numbers, it's worse than that, it's more than that. All of these kids, a vast majority of kids, and sorry, one more aside, that's just autism. That doesn't even include ADHD and the challenges of sensory and the kids who suffer through seizures and the medications they have to be put on with that. But the original definition of autism was locked-in syndrome. So everywhere in this world today, especially in the United States of America, our kids are being locked away from us. These kids are being locked away from their full ability to express and perceive life. They're being locked away from their parents being able to enjoy and live and see the amazing moments, minute to minute, day to day, that comes from a child who has that normal, healthy, functional potential. And the things you're going to find about tonight or this evening on May 2nd, are going to show you exactly why that's happening, but most importantly, they're going to show you, if you're there and your child's suffering, they're going to show you exactly the things you need to do to be able to unlock your child and give your child that potential to express and function at their highest potential, no matter where they're at, no matter their diagnosis, no matter how many letters or initials their diagnosis has or how many specialists you've seen. This is an evening where there's going to be some information that you just need to know about. We're going to make it a fun event. We're going to make it an impactful event, but most importantly, it's not just an awareness event. It's an action event. So you can register for this event at www.perfectstormpandemic.com. We'll put the URL up with this video and event and everywhere we put it out there. But that is www.perfectstormpandemic.com. Because right now it's not the swine flu, it's not the bird flu, it's not measles, and it's not whooping cough that is pandemic. It's autism, it's ADHD, it's sensory, it's seizures, it's allergies, it's asthma, it's chronic illness that's destroying our kids' lives. We need to reverse this trend. We need to stand up and take action, and we hope you'll join us May 2nd. Thank you for watching this video.